Okay, let's try again. Let me know if you guys can hear me now. Okay. So. Okay. Okay, working. Great. Cool. Thanks, guys. Sorry, I was, oh man, technical difficulties. Great. So the last time that we did this, we had issues with StreamYard. Here we go. Stymie, first one, working. Thanks, man. So last time that we did this, we had technical difficulties with StreamYard. And then this time we were having issues with YouTube itself. StreamYard was actually going through, and then we got this like, please generic try again error of death from YouTube. So anyway, I think I was able to go in and delete the old one. That's unfortunately what my phone is trying to connect to, but I think we're up and running and ready to go again. So let's give this a shot. All right, we're a few minutes late. We got people coming in. Let me find one more thing here, and then we can officially kick this thing off. Awesome. While people are coming in, by the way, drop any questions that you have in the chat, and we'll go ahead and work through them. I know that we had there was a question before we went down on the other one. So yeah, so go ahead and ask any questions you have, and we'll go from there. So let's do some hellos. So where's everybody calling from? So Nick the Greek says it works. Thanks for letting me know. Hello world, indeed, Robert. Yeah. So okay, Gagan, thanks for letting me know that it's working for you guys. I think you were saying you were calling in from India earlier, right? So hello. We had people calling in from New Jersey and a couple of other places. Daniel says it's working. Sweet. Thank you. Yeah, doing all right, man. I gotta say, a little flustered here. That the past couple times with the live streams, just trying to get them going has been a hassle. And you know what's frustrating about it is that since 2 weeks ago we had that issue. This time I specifically set up an unlisted stream. I tested it out to make sure everything was working, and it was working. And then of course when we did the public one, YouTube just died. So just came across the channel today and subscribed. Great videos, and watched the dataless tutorial to set everything up. Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, if it was helpful to you and you think it might help somebody else, feel free to share the videos or share the channel. Robert says smash the like button. Yes, I appreciate that, especially as we're kind of getting back up and running here. All right. Oh man, Cameron just coming in hot immediately with the price prediction question. We'll come to that one a little bit. Jeff Palmer says hello, Cardanians is probably how I would pronounce it. Hello, Jeff. So Josh, what about Cardano do I like more than other cryptocurrencies? So there's a lot of things. And also, so yeah, so let's go ahead and start. That's a great question. Let me take this off for a second and we'll go ahead and get started. Everybody else that's coming in, say hi and let us know where you're joining from, and drop any questions that you have in the chat and we'll work through them. What usually ends up happening, and I'll say this now, if you're kind of sitting there shy and you're not sure about asking a question, what usually ends up happening is it's like real slow to start, and then at the end, we're trying to squeeze in all the questions at the very end. So if you have questions you've been thinking about or something you're just curious about, either about the stake pool or the channel, Cardano, cryptocurrency in general, drop your questions in now and we'll work through them. And for those, I mean, better about this too, for those watching on the replay, we do this every 2 weeks. So let's do this. So thanks everybody for coming out to the live stream. We do this every 2 weeks on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. For those of you that are here live right now, really appreciate you joining. Appreciate you saying hello and letting us know where you're calling in from. We have a lot of fun doing these live streams. And I personally think it's a lot of fun to see where people are calling in from all across the world. If you're watching this on the replay, appreciate that. We'll be going through a lot of questions here in the next hour or so. And if you want to chat with us live and ask some questions, join us exactly 2 weeks from when we recorded this next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. All right. So with that, let's jump in. And let's switch back to here. And Josh, start off by saying, what about Cardano do we like more than other cryptocurrencies? So what I will say to start is that a lot of times people get into sort of a maximalist mindset. It happens a lot with Bitcoin, right? And that's easy for Bitcoin to be in a Bitcoin fans to have a maximalist mindset, because in their mind it's like, okay, well, this is what came first and we don't see any need for anything else to have come after. Bitcoin is the way to go and that's it. And so for them, that's a logical, like if you think about, if anyone's gonna be a maximalist, Bitcoin maximalist makes sense. But then from there, with Ethereum being the biggest altcoin and all of the other ones, especially ERC20 tokens that are sort of derived from Ethereum, you find a lot of people that get into this mindset of thinking, okay, this is my favorite coin and it's going to be the best one and it's going to kill everything else. And this is the way that things need to go. And I'm a firm believer. I know Charles says this. I think actually Vitalik Buterin has also said it himself. I'm a big believer in the fact that there doesn't need to be just one killer coin, that does everything, and that there are going to be different markets carved out for different coins and different utilities. So I'll say that as a caveat before I even dive into the question. I think that Cardano, in my opinion, well, in our opinion, so both of us, Jared and I, in our opinion, we think that Cardano is something that is going to carve a niche for itself and has a long road ahead of it. But I think that a lot of coins will probably be able to do the same. So with that being said, specifically what drove us to Cardano, there's a few things. So just off the top of my head, I think Charles Hoskinson, anybody that's a fan of the channel knows that both of us, and especially me personally, I'm a big fan of Charles Hoskinson. The guy is an incredible leader. He's incredibly good at communicating complex topics in ways that are easier for people to understand. A lot of people don't know this, but Charles actually started out in crypto way back with the Bitcoin core development team, and he was actually doing Bitcoin education. And some of the folks who were involved in Ethereum and some of these other projects met him through his Bitcoin education stuff. And then from there, he obviously went to Ethereum and then he went to Cardano. So he's got a really long track record, but he's also really good at condensing these really complex topics and putting them in an easy to understand way. And actually what I'll say on that note about Charles specifically is if you haven't seen the Lex Friedman podcast and interview with Charles, it's almost 5 hours long. It's really, really good. We cover it here in this week's recap here, and I'll drop it in for you guys in case anybody's curious and watching. Lex Friedman interview with Charles. If you're curious, this is a great conversation with Charles and Lex Friedman, and we sort of covered some of our favorite parts about it. But I think like in here, he does a really good job of explaining some things that I think people get confused about in terms of consensus is a great one, right? Where he says it in terms of like, look, there's really only three main things that every blockchain does, right? So step one is figure out who's going to be in charge of validating or mining or whatever your next block. Then from there, that person is going to be the one who actually verifies and publishes that transaction and that block to the network. And then everybody else checks their work to make sure that it's appropriate. And so if you think about it, he goes into this and he has these nice little things that he shows, and he goes into more detail than I'll go into here. But he talks about like pretty much every other blockchain, steps 2 and 3, the publishing and the verifying. Those steps are pretty similar, but the main difference that you find about proof of work and proof of stake and some of these other things is at step 1, like how do you come to a consensus about who should be the person that does that step 2 publishing? So that's just one example that he goes into here, where he's just really good at taking these really complex ideas and boiling it down to be like, listen, I know this sounds really difficult, but it's really just these 3 things, right? So aside from the fact that he's an incredible educator, I think Charles is just relentless with his goal of sort of changing the world and pushing power to the edges. And he's the kind of guy who doesn't care if he offends people. You can tell that he's like somebody who wants to help people, but if it sort of like rubs some people the wrong way and it gets in the way of like what he wants to do, he's like, okay, let's just do it. I think he's an incredible leader. So I think a huge part of it, of why we're fans of Cardano and me specifically, is Charles Hoskinson being at the head of the project. But that being said, the technology itself, I personally am a really big fan of the approaches they've taken with sort of the academic research and all the peer reviews that are published around the world, and how, instead of the whole like move fast and break things, there's a saying that I'm probably going to mess up, and I forget its origins. It's like one of those old cultural adages, and I'm not sure from where, but Charles says this a lot about that idea of, if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go far, go together. And so that's his whole view on the rollout for Cardano. It's like, yeah, it's taken longer than some people might like. And yes, doing these academic papers and having them peer reviewed across the world goes a lot slower. But the good thing, and he talks about this a lot in a lot of his different interviews, the good thing is that when you do that, you're now putting yourself out there for the whole academic world and all other crypto enthusiasts to look at and really tear apart and pick apart the proposals that you're doing about how you're going to do these things. So that is a way that both people that admire what you're doing and those that don't like what you're doing can be really harsh on the proposals that you're doing. And then from there, you can learn from them and improve on them. And personally, I think that's a fantastic way to go about something that you're planning on having, to be affecting not thousands of people, not millions, but potentially billions of people in the future. And then, okay, there's two other things, and then I'll move on. The other two things that I'll say, so that was sort of all about Charles, and I'm a huge fan of Charles Hoskinson. I think he's fantastic. The other two things that I'll say, the one is it's sort of a dovetail from that. The goal of Cardano, Charles Hoskinson, IOHK, is to the whole notion of pushing power to the edges and having these initiatives and these programs not just worry about trying to get crypto coders or just nerds like us excited, but trying to really affect people's lives in ways that are demonstrable and making it sort of a sticky thing where if you're actually solving a problem for hundreds of thousands or millions of people, then that is where the network effect comes from. It's not about trying to put out marketing and get people to want to come on board. It's about as it demonstrates that it can solve problems and do these great things, that you get more people to come on board because it's just doing the thing and it's super helpful. A great example of that is the work that they're doing with Ethiopia as a first sort of nation state that they're working with to try and help bank the unbanked and give them digital identity. So I'll link the Africa special here as a good example of some really good work they're doing about like really tangible stuff, pairing with the country of Ethiopia, giving all those students digital identifiers. And then from there, as they grow and move past sort of their education lives, they have these identifiers on the blockchain, and then they can use those for loans and things like that. So that's first big thing, Charles. Second big thing, that all the partnerships they're doing and how they're targeting nation states and things like that and a lot of different companies to work with. And then the third thing that I'll say, and kind of what brought us to operating a stake pool and then starting a channel to try and help people learn about Cardano, and as we say, growing their investments with confidence, is the broader Cardano community in general. For any of you that have been around the Cardano community for any amount of time, you'll find that the IOHK team, stake pool operators, different communities that you see, it's just a really, really positive and helpful community that just wants to get people on board and wants to help them out. And so for us, just from a personality standpoint and how we like to approach things, that really felt like it resonated. And even getting the stake pool up and running and finding documentation for it and speaking to stake pool operators who would come before us and learning from them, and also the great tooling that's around in the environment. And think about how easy it is also to delegate, right? 70% of all ADA is staked. And the reason is because it's so easy to do so. Now, that being said, it can just as easily be unstaked because there's no freezing period. So don't take that to mean more than it is in terms of like, oh, it's locked in, so the supply and demand and blah, blah, blah. It can very quickly be unstaked. But what I do take away from that statistic that you hear about a lot is like how easy then it is to delegate, that 70% of people are going about doing it instead of saying, oh, that's too hard, I'll figure it out later. So Josh, there is a 13-minute answer to a very simple question. But yeah, there's a lot of things that both of us like about Cardano. And the more that we learn about it, the more excited we get about the fundamentals. Yeah. And part of this journey has been with you all, right? Like if you go way back here to our first video about the Cardano roadmap about 4 months ago, from there to now, the amount that we've also learned about the Cardano ecosystem, about Charles Hoskinson, about the way that all of this comes together has been immense. In trying to do the research and put these videos together for you guys, we've also learned a lot along the way. And so it's been a really, really cool journey, and it's been a lot of fun so far. So there we go. Question number 1. Let's see where we're at. A bunch of great questions coming in here. Let me scroll up. Gagan says, looking at the charts, you think the price of ADA will go further down? So it's funny that lately we've been moving more and more away from price discussion, but I will address this question because this is another thing that like Charles talks about a lot, is that a lot of people worry about, will the price go up? Will it go down? Whatever else. I think, and this is, so this is Charles' firm belief, and I agree with him in this, that sometimes that's almost the wrong question. The question really is, do you think this thing is going to work? And do you think it's actually going to make a difference and impact people's lives? Because if you do, then when it does do that, and it's impacting millions and then billions of people's lives, the price has no direction to go but up, because it's got so much utility and it's helping so many people that then from there, like, it will appreciate in value. In terms of short-term moves of like where the price is now and if it goes up or down or whatever, like personally, and I'm not even just saying this, like I'm being completely honest, I kind of don't care, honestly. I recently, now that the price stopped kind of going crazy up and down and sort of seems like it's settled in a little bit, I personally started back up my dollar cost average plan of just buying ADA every week. When it was more settled before this crazy run it went on, back when it was in like the, 2 and 3 cent all the way up to like the 30-cent range, we were dollar cost averaging through all of that. When it went nuts, we kind of just like waited to let the fireworks go off and calm back down. And now that it's calmed back down, we've started back up our dollar cost averaging plan. We're in this for the long run. We have a strong belief in the project, in Charles, in IOHK, in the developers that are working on all of this stuff. And so it's sort of like, okay, let me just keep nibbling a little bit every week and just acquiring more ADA, earning more ADA, from delegating to a stake pool. Well, for us, for running the stake pool and then delegating to our own stake pool, obviously. And that's just kind of like all we're really worried about. What I will say is that if the price stays the same, then great, because we just keep DCAing at this price. If the price goes down, then awesome, because we're getting a discount on the ADA that we're buying. And if the price goes up, then whatever, it goes up. And then we'll be happy about the ADA we already got is appreciating in value. So there is no direction that is bad news, at least for me, in the mindset that I'm in, that I'm like, okay, I'm buying ADA. It's a great thing. I think it's going to potentially revolutionize people's lives across the world. And so let's go. So there you go. Probably not the answer that you were looking for, but the honest one in terms of how we see things. Okay. Was looking for a good way to track rewards over time. Some for tax reasons, just for knowing capital gains. Robert, that is a fantastic question. I love when people queue me up for videos that I can share. If you haven't already, check out our video on crypto taxes made easy with coin tracking. So this is for Robert. Is my ads not working? Robert. Well, for Robert. Crypto taxes made easy with coin tracking. There you go. So that gives you a way that you can track all of your stuff. And the other thing you can also do on Pool Tool, let me make sure. Okay, cool. The other thing you can also do on Pool Tool is if you go to your specific address. So for example, I'll just go to like our reward account here. So if you go to Pool Tool /address and you put your address up here, your staking address, you scroll down to the bottom, you can actually export your staking rewards and stuff into a CSV. But separately, if you watch that video that I put about coin tracking, we show you how to do this, how to upload it to coin tracking, and how to have all of it to be able to track your capital gains. And at least in the United States, our understanding, not tax advice. Oh, you know what I could do? Let me do this guy. There you go. Not financial advice, not tax advice. Talk to a tax professional. But our understanding of how that can be used for the U.S. tax laws is in that video as well. So check that out. And hopefully that helps. Okay. So I'm curious if, I guess for some reason my mentions aren't working. That's super strange. Oh, you know what? I wonder if I can do them here though. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Okay. So I have to do it like directly through YouTube. Okay. I will pause and say, where was our friend here before? Robert earlier was saying smash the like button, and I totally agree. We have 31 concurrent viewers and only 13 likes. So if you're appreciating the content, please give it a thumbs up. We appreciate it. For the algorithm, it helps out. It'll pop up for more people to see, and we can help them, and they can get their questions answered as well. And the other thing I'll say is, if you're enjoying this and it's helpful for you, and you know somebody that might also have some questions that they want to get answered. Share a link of the live stream that's going on right now with them so we can also answer their questions. We'll go for about another 30 minutes or so, and we'll go through as many questions as we can in that time. No dumb questions, ask anything you're curious about, and we'll work through as many as we can in that time. So Robert, hopefully I answered your question. NorCal 3506 from the Sierras at 4,300 feet above sea level. Thank you for joining us today. 4,800 feet above sea level. Well, we're at Denver, we're 5,280, so we're a little bit higher than you, but cool. That thin air. Go for runs in the thin air and then go for runs at sea level. You feel like a superhero. That's like my favorite thing to do. Oh, and there you go. So there you go. So NorCal, go for some runs, go visit Bruce, and then when you're hanging out with Bruce, you'll feel like a power runner. Hello, Bruce from Florida. The Win MD from Houston, Texas. Hello. Drog 96 Strix from Arkansas. I'm kidding. Arkansas. Hello. What tragic event could happen to help ADA and the crypto space? That's an interesting question. What tragic event could happen to help ADA and the crypto? So that's a weird question. What tragic event could happen that would help ADA? I don't know. I don't know if I even want to I don't know if I even want to brainstorm that. I don't know. It feels kind of sad. If I'm misunderstanding your question, ask it in a different way. But I don't want to be thinking about what bad things can happen to other people that would make things better for crypto. If I'm misunderstanding, ask it in a different way. Okay. Nick the Greek. Once someone learns the very basics of Cardano and stakes, what are the next steps to remain involved and learn more about Cardano? Cool. Thank you for asking. One way, and all joking aside, the way that we structure our channel is, if you'll notice here, so for example, what we do is every other Wednesday, we have live streams like here and here, right? But then on the off weeks on Wednesdays, we publish tutorials. And so then we've got some of these things that you were like learning, right? But every Sunday, we publish a weekly recap of all the news that happened during that week that we thought was the most relevant news from that week. So this last week, for example, there have been a ton of scams going on. So we published a scam alert of all the ones that we've been seeing. Once a month, Cardano puts out their Cardano 360. It's usually from like 2 to 3 hours. And we condense that for you and for like a 15 to 20 minute summary of everything that they covered. So it's a great way to keep up to date there. For example, here we covered the Lex Friedman interview. So on Sundays, so Nick, if you've already got the basics down and you want to stay informed, check out our videos every Sunday. We publish them at about 11 a.m. Eastern every Sunday, and we'll catch you up on everything that's going on. And so that's kind of our value proposition for those that want to subscribe to the channel is we help you get up to speed with the different tutorials. If you're confused about something, you can join us for a Q&A. And then once you're like up to speed and everything's running, all you have to do is just tune in once a week for a 10 to 15 minute video, and we'll get you caught up on everything that happened. And then you can just feel like, okay, I'm caught up and I'm good to go, and just check in the next week. Additionally, if you want to get more involved, then there's things that you could do like getting involved in smart contracts and learning Plutus and stuff like that if you're a developer. But yeah, as a start, I would say a good thing you can do is just check out the videos weekly. And that's a good way to sort of stay informed, because we do all the research of tracking down all the stuff going on, and we condense it for you in a nice sort of bite-sized way that you can feel like you're still informed about what's going on, and it doesn't cost you the bunch of hours that it takes us to go through like all the different material. So I'm glad you asked that, because that's a deliberate way on how we structured the channel to help people get up and running, and then from there, keep them informed on a weekly basis. Christopher, if you register for Catalyst 4, are you automatically registered for Catalyst 5? That is a fantastic question. And honestly, one that I am not totally sure of, because we did. So this is what I was telling you, like, as we move through this process, we're all kind of learning about these things together, right? Like there are a lot of things that the two of us that run the stake pool and the channel, there are a lot of things that we've learned over many years of being involved in different cryptocurrencies and blockchain stuff in general. And then there are other things, for example, Catalyst voting, that we're kind of learning alongside with you guys. And when we made these videos on Catalyst registration and then the one on voting, we were literally like learning and registering right along with you guys. So that's part of why we really like our Telegram group. And let me share that. Because what I always say there, and I truly mean it, is that we are all like at different points in our journey, kind of going through this thing. Like nobody knows everything. And so like, since everyone has different experiences and everyone has been through different things, like let's all just like learn from each other. We have a bunch of stuff that we've learned about specifically these topics over several years. And we try and save you guys having to go through those several years of learning. And we distill the information into these different tutorials and things like that. But for things we don't know, we're just honest that like, hey, we have to look into it to find out. And then once we do, we'll share it and learn together. My assumption based on, I was literally looking at the Catalyst app today. My assumption is if you already registered that wallet, similar to how like when you register for delegating to a stake pool, once those two are connected, the pool and your wallet, and you have a staking address and you registered, once those are linked and you add any funds, it automatically gets staked. I am pretty sure that that same kind of pairing and logic applies for voting, where once you've taken that wallet and you've registered it with the network as a voting wallet, it's just good to go. And you can add or remove funds, and then your voting power and snapshot is taken at the different times. The same as how like with delegation, you've got snapshots taken every epoch with the different funds. There's voting fund snapshots taken before every fund. And I would say, without confirming for sure, I'm like 80% confident that if you registered before, you're probably good to go. And all it's going to do is just take a new snapshot at the next deadline, and then you're good to go. So first thing, our Telegram group, we want to chat with folks that know lots of great stuff and are always happy to share it. I just posted that there. For Catalyst, here's the FAQ. Actually, I'll share this too. Catalyst FAQ. Here's the Catalyst FAQ. Here we got some deadlines for you guys. Registration for Fund 5 begins tomorrow. So this is what I was hoping somebody would ask, because I wanted to show you guys this. Tomorrow registrations opens up. I think we should be good to go. Like I don't think we're gonna need to do anything at all. If you check your Catalyst app, you'll be able to see for sure. It goes until the 19th. If you have not registered yet and you want to register for Catalyst Fund 5, I highly recommend you check out our playlist on Project Catalyst. So that's a good transition to that conversation. For those that are interested in finding out more about Project Catalyst and voting in Project Catalyst, Project Catalyst playlist. How to register and vote. There you go. So for those that are interested in participating in Project Catalyst, check out this playlist. It'll show you how to register with any of the 3 wallets. Here's some information on what Project Catalyst is on one of our old recaps. And then here, once it's time to vote, which will be about 11 days after registration opens up, then this is a video on how you can, that's not what I want to do. Here we go. On how you can vote. Okay, cool. So, sweet. Do I think the crypto market has stripped the stock market? I don't know. I think people are finding different things to invest in, and the younger generation is more interested in cryptocurrency than stock market, aside from like people that are doing like meme stocks and stuff. But that's just my personal opinion. Not a financial advisor. I don't necessarily know. I don't know. I think that it's coming more and more as like another legitimate thing that people can invest in. And only time will tell in terms of how much of it ends up taking from the stock market in terms of like value, or even other things like precious metals and things too. So we'll have to wait and see. Redondo Beach, California. Hello from Redondo Beach. Fantastic. Thank you for joining us. How are we doing on the like ratio? Sweet. So we've got 41 viewers now. We're up to 24 likes. So please, if you're enjoying it, hit the like button. It'll help other people see it, and then we can answer their questions as well. Drag96, you watched the Lex Friedman thing. Awesome. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Here we go. So I lost my spot. Robert, if I'm using my Ledger X with Yoroi, how can I use another wallet to vote? Like Adalite or Daedalus? So, trying to think of how to answer this. So, okay, so I see what you're saying. So you're saying because like in Fund 4, right, in Fund 4, they only had Ledger support on Daedalus. And I think they added Trezor support at the very end, and Yoroi support for the Ledger Nano X is coming, but I don't think. Let's see. Oh, here we go. And by the way, this FAQ is just like awesome. It has like everything you need. But here we go. So which application is currently supported? It looks so here you go, Robert. Your ROI browser extension will be supported with the Ledger Nano SNX. You should be good to go. It was not supported for Fund 4, but for Fund 5, you should be good to go. So give that a try when Fund 5 registration opens up through your ROI, and let us know how it works out for you. Yeah, report back and let us know. Do you prefer Cardanians or Woodlandites? You know, it's funny. We were talking about like, well, like what would be kind of a fun name for like community members in the channel? I think like somebody one time said like woodland critters or something like that. I don't know. Well, Cardanians is sort of like a broader term. And actually that's, if I'm not mistaken, what the ADA pools people call themselves. Yeah, look at that. See, powered by the Cardanians. So yeah, I don't know. We haven't thought of like a good name for the community yet. If anybody has some good ones, let us know. Okay. How, NorCal, how are the blocks assigned per epoch? Random. Yes. So, it is a probabilistic assignment based on the size of your pool. So you have like probabilities based on the size for how many blocks you're expected to get. Let me find for you here. Right? Yes. Awesome. I usually guess wrong the first time. So in Epoch 276 here, this blue is because we currently have 3 blocks that we validated, but you can see here the probability of any number of blocks. And so, for example, to get 4 blocks, we have a 17% chance, 10% chance of 5 blocks. We have a almost 5% chance of no blocks. And so then because it's probabilistic and it's like a roll of the dice, that is your, like you'll have here, the way they show here is like on the right-hand side of the ratio is the amount of blocks you're expected to get. Like if you run the probability of all these different things and you do the average, here's how many blocks you're expected to get. So it can be more or less. So you can see, for example, here in Epochs 268 and 269, we were expected to get 2.1 and 2.3 blocks, but instead we got 0. In 270, we're supposed to get 2.3 blocks and we only got 2. And then for these 3 here, for example, we were get 26, 26, 28, and we actually got 4, 4, and 4. So it can go under or over. And so the idea with it is that with the probability is that sort of in the long run, this will kind of average itself out. Yeah, and that's where you get like your 4 to 6% average ROS is because if you can see here, they call it ROA, return on ADA. You can see how it varies from epoch to epoch, and the way that this variation happens is, you know, based on the amount of blocks that you were expected to get, based on the size of the delegation of your pool. Here we were expected to get 2.3, but we only got 2, so we got a little bit under 5% ROS or ROA because we technically underperformed, but just from a probability standpoint. Like we have no say over that. No pool has any say over that. The network just says, here's how many you're getting this time. And as long as you validate 100% of the blocks that you are supposed to get, then you don't get any penalties from the network. And then the dice gets rolled again. And then you see how the next time we're supposed to get 2.6 and we got 4. So our ROA here was higher than 5 or 6% because we overperformed. So as a general rule of thumb, a good way to sort of guess what the ROS or ROA is going to be is you can look to see to the pool at a very basic level, did they over or underperform? And that's how they'll fall either above or below that 4 to 6% range. So yeah, it's all a probability thing. And you don't get any penalties as long as you're actually validating. Let me go back here. As long as you're actually validating all of the blocks that are assigned to you, which we've got at, at exactly 100% record on that so far. So cool. Hopefully that answered it. Lambda. Stymie, I didn't even look at that before I clicked it. I need to like pre-read some of these. Okay. I recently went from staking Kraken to Ledger Nano and Daedalus. Awesome. Congratulations. Very, very cool for you. Very happy for you. That's definitely the way to go. Man, I keep doing this. That's definitely the way to go. And what I will say is if you're on the fence and you're just watching us live because you're curious, but you've got your stuff on Kraken or on Binance, you should definitely watch this video where we talk about, hey, if you're staking on one of these things, here's maybe some reasons why you shouldn't and why you should go with a community stake pool instead of one of these other ones. So why you should not stake on Kraken or Coinbase, any other exchange. you go. So yeah, congratulations. Very cool. Wasn't really bad, was it? It seems kind of intimidating, but it's really not that hard. And if you, so that's a video on why you might not want to stake on an exchange. But if you're curious on then you say, okay, well, that's great, but how do I actually go about doing that, getting off of the exchange? We have this getting started guide playlist for you for all curious how to get funds off the exchange and delegate. Go community pool. Check out our getting started guide. There you go. So cool. So here you can see that this one, it'll show you how to order and set up a Ledger Nano X. If you don't want to do that and you want to go just with like a software wallet route for now, that's totally fine. Just pull up the playlist and start on our second video instead. It'll help you choose which wallet you want to use. Then Yoroi is the most popular one we have seen, at least from our videos. So we have that one as the example then on how to do, but we also have videos on AdaLite and Daedalus on how to actually install them, set them up, get your ADA on them and get delegated. Then from there, how to select the right stake pool for you, how to understand the Cardano delegation cycle. So you've picked your wallet, you've set up your wallet, you've chosen your stake pool and you've delegated to them, and then help you understand how long do you need to wait for rewards come in? How does that whole thing work? And then answering a bunch of questions for you that we've gotten from the community about how staking works and stuff like that. So this will be a really good playlist if you're in a spot right now where you are currently trying to figure out how to do the thing. Cool. Where were we? Glenn, buy plus hodl. Relax. Price means nothing right now. Yeah, I mean, agreed. And so I will say, right, again, let me throw this guy back up. Not financial advice, but I will say, never invest more than you are willing or able to lose, right? And that is how we've approached this, and that's the way that we should all be approaching this. The idea is that you're investing because you believe in this thing to happen, but the reason why it's an investment and why it's not like a 100% guaranteed thing is that it could go the way, some incredible way. It could not be as exciting as you thought, or it could go terribly, right? And this is how investments work in anything. Like when you're buying stock in a company, you're buying it because you think the company is going to do great. But if the company goes out of business or whatever, and you're stuck holding that stock, then it's not really worth that much, is it? So cryptocurrency is a very new technology. There's a lot of ways that things can go great or problems it might run into along the way. A lot of, maybe some of them, definitely a lot of possible ones maybe we haven't even thought of yet in terms, and also on the positive side, there can be a lot of great applications and solutions that it can solve that I'm sure people haven't even thought of yet. So you set aside that money that you are willing and able to lose, and that is your investment money of, I believe in this thing and I'm setting aside this as an investment because I believe in the asymmetric upside potential where, yeah, I have this money and I might lose it and that might be whatever, but it could potentially make me some life-changing money if things go really well. And I really believe in this project. So those two things go very nicely together. And so, yeah, so as Glenn said, that's the way that we're doing it. Everyone has to think through their own sort of risk tolerance and sort of a lot of different factors that go into their plan and how they want to do that. And actually, I will also share that video. If you're just now getting started and you're thinking through like, okay, how do I come up with like an investing plan, right? In this video here, we go through for you guys a lot of different factors, how to make a plan for investing. So there we go through a lot of different factors to consider, including your risk tolerance on a macro scale, your risk tolerance on a micro scale, like how much you want to put into each coin, what's your time horizon, what are your different price targets for entry and exit, what's your precision, do you want a dollar cost average, you want to try and set up levels. We go through all of those different things. And then from there, you grab each piece that you like and you sort of put together your plan and learn more and kind of go from there. So cool, Glenn, glad you pointed that out. And Drog is in the same game plan. All right. Let me just make sure. Okay, cool. We have a lot of good questions coming in. Awesome. Josh, on the last Q&A, you briefly touched on operating a stake pool. Can you go into a little more detail on what that entails? I don't imagine the sort of thing that one could run at home on a Raspberry Pi. Funny you say that. There is an entire, let me see if I can pull it up here. There's an entire community of Cardano stake pool arm. Let me pull this up real quick. It's funny that you say that because look at this. Arming Cardano, an ecosystem for Raspberry stake pool operators. So this is just one. I haven't even read this article. This is just like one example. But yeah, I mean, depending on how you do it, you could potentially run it on a Raspberry Pi or something like that. There's an entire community of people that do it that way. I'm actually not quite sure exactly how they put it together. We run our stake pool on virtual machines. Some people use bare metal servers that they buy and get rack space to do themselves. But at its core, Josh, to answer your question, the most common thing in terms of like how, let me rephrase this. The commonality between all stake pools, no matter how they're put together, whether they are virtual machines, whether they are bare metal servers, whether someone's doing it as part of the ARM community on like a Raspberry Pi or something similar, the commonality is you are here. You go to Cardano docs, getting started, operating a stake pool. I thought it was here actually, but anyway, so you get the Cardano node installed, you run it, you sync with the network. Then from there, like once you're synced, then you actually like assign like your pledge. And yeah, once you're registered and signed up, then you put yourself out there. You can do an integration with Pool Tool and so that you can show up and you can like show your blocks and stuff like that. But yeah, it's actually a really, really straightforward process. There's some really good documentation. I'd recommend if anybody's interested in doing that, check out these Cardano docs. But yeah, I mean, it's just, the thing is that it's actually like the stake pool operation portion is not that hard. The harder part is like, how do you like get delegators to join you? But if it's something you're interested in and everybody wants to mess around with it and you have a Raspberry Pi at home, look into some of the docs that are out there about the ARM community and how they're doing this stuff. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then from there, you can even go to the testnet. You don't have to do it with any like real money. You can go to the testnet. You can get the Cardano node installed. Set up a couple relays and stuff, and yeah, just mess around and see what it is like. It's this is what I'm saying. Like the documentation in the community. Let me do this Cardano docs. Documentation in the community is so good, and everybody's so helpful. But I highly recommend, if you want to do it just for fun, maybe spin up like a little play server, connect on the testnet, and see for yourself just how the whole thing works. It's really, really cool. Okie dokie. Anybody planning on going to the Cardano Crypto Jam in Wyoming server? Oh, so Chaz, was it announced? Is the in-person part in Wyoming? I know that they'd announced, let's see. I know they'd announced it was in September. Let's see here. I'm going to pull up I didn't check yet see if there's a new blog post about that maybe. Let me know if you heard where you heard it. But yeah, I don't see anything announced about where it would be. So yeah, if you did get confirmation that it was going to be in Wyoming, please let us know. And then if you have specific dates, please let us know. Please share. We also signed up for, and if you want to get more information about it, you can go to summit.cardano.org and you can register here. You put your information and they'll send you more information. We had not heard any more of about that. Maybe Chaz knows somebody who knows somebody. But yeah, let us know if you got some more details. Yeah, if it's stated $1. So we're going back to sort of the price conversation about like DCAing and stuff like that. And Drug says if stated $1 for 5 years, that'd be great. Yeah, I mean, it's some good confidence around that price level for sure. So yeah, so you're saying the Crypto Jam in Wyoming. Pretty sure that's not what it's called. Yeah, they're calling it the Cardano Gogan Summit. So yeah, good guess. That's not what it's called. It's 2 epics from initial delegation to get rewards. Actually, no, it's and actually we have a video. Well, we have that when rewards video. It's in that playlist that I put before. So if you check out the playlist and like this video here, the Cardano delegation cycle, it is we go into more detail, but it's actually between 3 and 4 epics before you get your first payout from your initial delegation. So that comes out to about 15 to 20 days is the time frame. Assuming that the pool you delegated to was assigned blocks to validate, or a better way to phrase it is assuming that they validated blocks on the epic that your initial delegation would have been part of the active stake. Like for example, if you just had like bad luck and you had like delegated with us before 268, And then at the time that your stake was in the active stake for 268, because we didn't get any blocks to validate, you wouldn't have gotten rewards when they paid out. I believe it would have been like 271 or 270. So yeah, and that's the other thing about like lumpy versus consistent returns. Like, and actually what I will say, this is a great example of lumpy versus consistent returns with smaller pools like ours. With the issue with like lumpy returns is that like, yeah, like sometimes you won't, rather there's sometimes where you won't get any rewards for an epic, but with that sort of 4 to 6% range, you can see here how, even though we had these gaps here, if you look at the 6 epic trend, right? So for a full month, we're at 5.5%. And actually that's going to go up because we have already 3 blocks this epic, and we've got a few more coming in because we have like a CLI tool that lets us know how many blocks we're going to get per epic. So yeah, so with smaller pools, you have gaps sometimes, but then you can see here like 7.1%. Can you guys see that? Okay, yeah. 7.1% that epic, 7.0 that other one, 6.6 another one. So yeah, pretty cool. Oh, you just live in Fort Collins. Nice. Yeah, Colorado's beautiful. I love it here. That's kind of the wrong way to look at it. Not sure what you're referring to. Like COVID did for crypto. Oh, you're asking about like what kind of catastrophe could be good for crypto? Well, I mean, so like when you say, let me go back to your question from earlier, where you're saying what tragic event could help ADA in the crypto space? Well, then helping there is a relative term, right? Because when you're saying here, like what COVID did for crypto, there was that crash on it on that Black Thursday, right? And a lot of people freaked out, and a lot of people that freaked out and sold lost a lot of money. So that helping crypto is a relative term. If you were a strong believer in these projects and you bought when it was going down, which we did, but like, you know, if you panicked and you sold, that event like wrecked a lot of people. If you had the foresight to buy into that fear, you know, investing into the future, then good for you. You're probably pretty happy with yourself. But I can't say that's objectively a thing that like helped crypto. And also like a lot of times, a lot of people, especially like financial institutions and stuff like that, see these huge spikes of volatility as a reason to stay away. So I'm not sure how much that helped crypto. But yeah. And the other thing that I will say too is like when I say like buying into fear and stuff like that, that was part of our plan, like our plan that we had made. That like, okay, it's going down. We believe in this project. We think it will come back. So we're going to buy into this fear and acquire more of it at a better price point. But we believe that it's going to come back, but there's no guarantee that it was, right? So like it could have just as well just crashed to zero. I'm not saying I believe that's going to happen, but it's a possibility that exists, right? So you need to be ready for that, you know, in case it does. Okay, Nick the Greek, the Telegram channel is awesome to remain involved. Yeah, I mean the Telegram channel is awesome. Like, I mean, like, and I say that not just because we started it, but because there's a lot of like really smart, really helpful people in there. Like I personally have been super busy with stuff like when I'm not doing these streams and things, and a lot of times like I'll come back after several hours and look, and there's so many good conversations, people just sharing learnings and just like teaching each other stuff, and just like really, really cool. So highly recommend the Telegram channel if you're looking for like a positive, helpful environment where people are just helping each other out. Okay. How does a stake pool manage saturation? I understand there's a certain point there's penalty. Yeah. So that's a great question, Steve. The stake pool cannot manage saturation. That's the thing, is that because this whole thing is decentralized and there's these protocols that are like running the whole operation, right? And the stake pool is just following along. What happens is that the stake pool, you get delegators, your delegation goes up, right? And then so as you get more delegators, you get more blocks. And then when you get more blocks, you get more rewards. And that's a linear relationship that goes up until you hit the saturation point. And after that point, then your rewards that you get flatline and they stop at that point. But the amount of delegators that you're getting as it continues increasing, you're now sharing the same rewards with more delegators. So you've got, you know, what basically plays out to be a rewards penalty, right? So although the stake pool cannot directly do anything about it, what you will see that most stake pools do, and actually, for example, let me look up our friends over at Eden Pool. There's some really great folks over there, and they're doing well for themselves. They have several pools. So if we look at Eden, cool. So we look at Eden Pool and we look at their variable fee. If you look at their initial pool, which right now is at 61.6 million, which is getting close to saturation, what they did here was they raised the variable fee on that one higher than all of their other pools, so that people that are more dynamic and want to move around more often see that and they go, oh, well, If this one's taking at 5%, I'll just move to, you know, Eden's pool 2 or pool 3 or whatever, and go for something that has like a lower variable fee. So that's the way that the operators can indirectly influence the issue with saturation. And that's something like, for example, for us, right? Like if you look at Aspen, right now, we're at the fixed 340 and 0.5% variable fee. You know, once we hit like 32 million, we'll probably raise our variable fee up some in anticipation of when the K value splits and saturation point drops. And then definitely, you know, if and when we get to like closer to like the 60 plus million, if that happens, so this timing, right? Like if that happens, what was I gonna say? If that happens before the saturation level drops and we're getting up to like the high, like the mid 60s or even the high 50s into the 60s of million of delegation, you'll see us also do something like what Eden did, and we'll raise our variable fee to disincentivize people from going to that pool, and we'll make like another pool that people can join that will incentivize them to go there. And that's kind of how you can balance it out. Good question. Glenn thinks that Nick the Greek should buy more ADA. Okay, Bruce, you cloned your, let me see here. We're going to go for about, okay, cool. Yeah, we're getting, okay. I'm going to have to rapid fire these last questions here. So we got about maybe 10 minutes left. Okay, Bruce, clone your Roy wallet to Daedalus. Can you send or receive ADA from the clone? What's the advantage of cloning a Daedalus? Seems that Daedalus is safer than Yoroi. So yes. So the thing about that is that when you clone it, right, like you effectively, for as far as the network is concerned, you have two identical wallets that are indistinguishable. Like the network doesn't even care if it's Yoroi or Daedalus or if you're doing it off your ledger or whatever. The network just sees the public keys and the addresses associated with that wallet, and then it requires a signature to do verified transactions, and it verifies that those things all match up. And if the signature is there and it matches the one for the private key signature, if that matches the public key that's on the network, that's all the network cares about. It's like, okay, this belongs to this person, you're good to go. So the purpose of cloning is just if you want to work with, like, if you have a software wallet in one and you want to work with the other. To your point about Daedalus being safer than Yoroi, Daedalus is safer than Yoroi in that Daedalus doesn't rely on anyone else to verify any transactions. It is a full Cardano node and is a fully trustless wallet in that it verifies itself all transactions, just like any other Cardano node, including our stake pool, right? You can think of the Daedalus wallet as like a passive stake pool relay that also serves as a wallet. So it is more secure than Yoroi because Yoroi relies on other people to do the validation for it. But Daedalus is also really heavy on people's machines, and every time you open up, it has to resync. So a lot of people don't necessarily like that, and they go with sort of the compromise of Yoroi being faster, still secure, not as secure, but still secure. And that being said, if you want to be even more secure, you should really move off of a software wallet and use a hardware wallet. That playlist that we linked earlier about the Getting Started guide, check out that video on how to order a Ledger Nano X, or if not, we also have videos comparing the Ledger and the Trezor to see which one's better for you. So you can check that one out on our page as well. And that's how you can be even more secure than a software wallet. But yeah, so the clone works exactly the same. It's indistinguishable from the network's perspective. And then we also have this video. I'm kind of spamming the chat with videos, so I'll just tell you guys about them. We also have this video, Crypto Keys, Wallets, and Addresses Explained. This one goes into the details of how all of this kind of works together and demystifies a little bit about how everything works together in the wallet and like what's the UI layer, what is it that's actually managing the private keys in a software wallet and a hardware wallet on the exchange, different examples like that. Okay, what is the securest, most private way to buy Cardano? Should I buy Monero, then Cardano with that, then store on the Nano? That's a really good question. That's not like a workflow that we have really concerned ourselves with too much, to be totally honest. I guess you could do that. But the thing about it, though, is that if you're using Monero to buy Cardano and you're doing it on an exchange, most exchanges, at least in the United States, most exchanges that Americans at least are allowed to use, have like KYC, like know your customer. So like you have to let the exchange know who you are anyway. So if you're buying Monero, but you're doing it on an exchange, the exchange already knows who you are. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah. But in terms of securest way, storing it on your Ledger Nano X or on your Trezor Model T, in terms of having it on a hardware wallet, that is definitely the most secure way, because then nobody can hack your coins and steal them. So yeah, totally. And like I said, check out this video if you're interested in a hardware wallet and you're choosing between them. Okay, rapid fire. Man, okay. Got a lot of questions. Here we go. Rapid fire. Ready? I'm gonna do it quick this time. I always say that and then I could take a long time. I'm gonna do rapid fire questions. Any tips about storing the seed phrase of a hardware wallet? So there's lots of good ways to do that. You can do so definitely don't store it electronically. Don't take pictures of it. Don't email it to yourself. Do anything like that. Do a hard physical copy. It comes with paper copies. There's lots of different things that people recommend that or suggest that you can do for things like crypto steel and stuff like that. That's actually a great question. You should join our Telegram group for. We have people like Jeff and others that are very adamant about exactly this topic, and you guys can talk at length about it. The one thing that I would say is a best practice, though, is that you probably want to make multiple copies and store them in different secure locations in case something happens, like your house burns down or something like that. Robert says, looking at crypto steel. So there you go. There's a steel example like we were talking about. You can't vote with your Roy if you have a Ledger X. Robert, are you sure about that? And I'm not being facetious. Like, I'm pretty sure that according to the FAQ here, that Yoroi is now supported with Ledger Nano SNX for Fund 5. You were not able to do it for Fund 4, but you should be able to for Fund 5. If you double check and you can confirm that that is not the case, let us know, because we're probably somebody should reach out to these folks and let them know that this is incorrect. But I'm pretty sure that this is part of like the big deal with Fund 5 is that, yes, you can now do Ledger with Yoroi. Sweet. They're on back order. Not sure. Oh, probably hardware wallets. Audience, not sure what that means. Okay. All right, daughter's considering getting into ADA and she would like to manage it offline. Can you set up multiple wallets in your Yoroi using a single Ledger Nano, or is it one wallet per device? Currently, it is only one wallet per device. So if you want to do multiple, you either need to get multiple hardware wallets, or you can do a hardware wallet and you can do multiple software wallets. Okay. Can you use passphrases in multiple wallets and ledgers so you could have passphrases for her? Well, yeah, I mean, sure. Right. So yes, you could create multiple seed phrases, but the hardware wallet would only have one on it at any given time. So you would need to literally wipe it and restore it, and then wipe it and restore it anytime you wanted to switch to manage your funds, which isn't super practical. So you probably just want to have multiple hardware wallets. Cool, helping each other out. What's the Telegram channel? Josh, scroll up. I linked it a little bit earlier in the chat. Thanks for the Q&A, super helpful. Hey, so glad it helped. Yeah, we're gonna wrap up here in the next few minutes. How do you store ADA on your Ledger? You couldn't figure out those options. Oh, so Michael, check out this video. I'm doing rapid fire, like I said. If you come earlier, I would take more time and link it for you. But to do that, scroll up and check out this Getting Started Guide playlist that I did. It shows you everything you need to do for literally for your case with the Ledger. This is start to finish, everything you need to do. It's these 6 videos. And if you just sit down and go through this, then by the time you're done, you will have your Ledger set up. You'll have Cardano installed. You will have chosen a wallet. You will have installed and set up that wallet. And you were able to delegate to a stake pool. You can pick your favorite, and then you'll find out how long it'll be till you get paid out. This playlist is made exactly for someone in your situation. So scroll up and check where I mentioned the Getting Started Guide, and you'll be good to go. Well, part of Florida. Cool. Jeff's going to have a meetup. Do you have a really... Oh, yeah, exactly. Sweet. Thanks, Robert. Really appreciate it. Yep, this video here, how to use Yoroi. Robert, correct. For Fund 4, you're not able to do Yoroi with Ledger, but Fund 4 is over anyway. So for Fund 5 is what we're looking at. Okay. Yep, we do. We have videos for all 3, Daedalus, Yoroi, and ADA Lite. In this playlist, we only show Yoroi, but if you... here we go. So we've got Yoroi, ADA Lite, and Daedalus. So pick your favorite. So this one here is to help you pick your favorite, which of the 3 you want to choose. And then we have videos to get you set up on all 3. The Win MD. Thank you for what you do. Saved me as I am totally new. Staked a lot of ADA after setting up my Ledger. Will stake with Aspen. Awesome. Thank you. And as we're wrapping up here, I will say that's really great. Really appreciate it. The reason why we made this channel, like I said at the start of this thing, is because we had to figure out so many different things to get up and running. And now there's a lot of great information out there and stuff like that. But yeah, it's one of those things where hey, if we already went through this whole process and had to track down all this information, why do other people have to go through the same thing? So we've tried really hard, I'm not kidding, to make very specific tutorials for as many different common scenarios as we can think of. So as a matter of fact, if you guys have questions that we don't have a video for, I'll challenge you. If you have a good like common Cardano question that we don't know a video for, please let us know. And we'd be happy to make one, because in most cases, we have a video that can answer your question. And we, because we went through all of this stuff and had to also figure it out. So we want to like help you guys to do that. So cool. Really glad to hear that. With Ledger, don't remember exactly what we're talking about. Oh yeah, exactly. How to set up all three with Ledger. Cool. Single seed phrase with a passphrase. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, Robert, maybe join a Telegram group and chat with us more about it. It's a single seed phrase and we locked with a passphrase. So if you use different passphrase, yeah, no, totally. Join us in the Telegram group. Let's talk about it more. I'd be really interested. That's something where like, if there is a cool way to do that, that is not like a super cumbersome way to use a ledger and have multiple seed phrases on it, then please let us know. We haven't come across that personally, but yeah, if there's a good way to do it, that'd be awesome. Join the Telegram group. Let us know. Join the Telegram group. People stuck. I knew Jeff was going to talk about this, about saying, because this is like Jeff loves talking about this durable safe storage stuff and some different alternatives there. So if that's something that you like talking about, join the group. And Robert, you do need to get on Telegram. It's very, very simple. If you click on the Telegram group link that we linked there, the first thing it'll do is it'll prompt you to download Telegram. And then from there, you can join our Telegram group. Okay, so as we sign off here, we were up to 30 likes. Let's get a few more. Really appreciate everybody joining today. This is a lot of fun. A lot of great questions that we went through. We're able to get through all of them through the end here with rapid fire. So thanks everybody for joining. Always a pleasure. Really enjoyed doing this. If you're watching this on replay or if you're watching us live and you want to chat again, join us in exactly 2 weeks at 6 p.m. Eastern. And we will do this again then. So thank you, everybody. Always a good time. Wherever you are in the world, have a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.